Hey everybody, and welcome back to my kitchen, or welcome if you are new. My name is Bethany, or Budget Bethany, and welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. So I like to share these every single week in hopes to give y'all some meal ideas to cook at home for your family as well. My meal ideas are always super easy and always budget friendly, as I am a working mama, and I always like to keep it pretty easy, basic and simple and straight to the point. So if you're into that, I hope that you'll just keep on watching. Alright, so we're going to kick off this week with a Ritz chicken casserole. I have made it before. I think I made it a little bit different before, but this time I'm going to be using some Ritz crackers, of course, 2 cans of cream of chicken, the two breasts off of the rotisserie chicken, about a half of this thing of sour cream, so about 4 ounces of sour cream, and then here are the seasonings that I'm going to use to season it up. I just got some garlic powder, some Tony's Creole seasoning, some black pepper, and some salt. So in my bowl right here, I've dumped in my 2 cans of cream of chicken, and then I'm going to go in with my half a thing of sour cream. I always buy the big things of sour cream because we tend to go through a lot of sour cream, but I'm only going to be using half of this big container. I would guess about 4 ounces of sour cream is what you'll need. And then I just went in with my salt and pepper and my Tony's Creole seasoning, but you can use whatever kind of seasonings that you like. And then I just mixed that up really well. And then I started shredding up my rotisserie chicken. I did get this rotisserie chicken from Walmart, and I'm just shredding up the chicken breast. And then once I had all of my chicken breasts all shredded up, I just dumped it in the bowl that I had my cream of chicken and my sour cream mixture in there, and I just made sure that all that chicken was good and mixed up and good and coated. And then I just dumped that into the bottom of my sprayed bacon dish and just kind of evened it out, making sure that it was all spread out evenly in the bottom of my pan. And then on top, you'll add your Ritz crackers, and I just kind of crunched mine up a little bit in the package and just poured them right on top of it. And then I just topped it with some butter cubes. It was a stick of butter, and I just cut it into cubes. Then I popped it in the oven on 350 for about 20-25 minutes, just long enough to kind of melt that butter and let all the flavors get incorporated. And this is how it looked once it came out of the oven. To go with our Ritz chicken casserole, I made some cheesy bacon Brussels sprouts, and these things were so delicious, y'all. You have to try these. If you don't try anything else from this video, I hope you'll try these. So you'll need 2 packages or 1 package, depending on the size of your family, of Brussels sprouts, a pack of bacon, and some garlic powder for seasoning. And I also did go in with a little bit of salt and pepper at the end. So I had my Brussels sprouts in some water coming to a boil, and then I also have my bacon in my skillet frying. So once my Brussels sprouts were done, I drained the water off of them, and then I removed my bacon from my skillet, of course. And then I just poured the Brussels sprouts right into my bacon grease that was in that skillet while it was still hot, and kind of just let those bacon flavors and all that stuff get incorporated together into my Brussels sprouts. And then I just kind of went in with my spatula and kind of mashed it up a little bit. You don't have to mash it up perfect, but I did mash mine up pretty good. So then once I got all my Brussels sprouts mashed up, I went on with a little bit of bacon and kind of mixed that up into my Brussels sprouts. And then I topped them with some shredded cheddar cheese. Like I said, I use shredded cheddar cheese. I feel like you could probably use some pepper jack cheese as well, or whatever kind of cheese you prefer, but I use a shredded cheddar cheese. And then I just cut up the rest of that bacon on top, popped it in the oven on 350 for about 15-20 minutes, just long enough to melt that cheese and all that good old stuff. And this is how it looked once it came out of the oven. I'm going to plate it up for y'all so that y'all can see how it looks, everything together with the Ritz chicken casserole and the cheesy bacon Brussels sprouts. Alright, so here it is all together, and I do recommend trying the Brussels sprouts and the Ritz chicken casserole together because they're really good mixed together. So anyway, on the next night we had some salmon patties, some rice and tomatoes, and some lima beans. I actually put those lima beans on that morning, but I will share that with y'all in just a little bit. But first, we're going to start making our salmon patties. So right here, I have 2 cans of salmon, 2 eggs, some self-rising flour, and some cornmeal, as well as an onion. And I only used just a little bit of that onion. I didn't put a whole lot in there because my husband doesn't really care for onions. So I just mixed all those ingredients together. And I will have measurements in my description box for the exact measurements and everything like that. Anyway, I just mixed all those ingredients together and patted out into patties just like you would a hamburger patty. Also in my skillet, I had my oil heating up, and I'm just going to drop those salmon patties in there in that hot oil. And I also had my tomatoes and my rice going on the back burner. For the tomatoes, it's just canned tomatoes. I just put them in the pot, and I did add a little bit of like bacon grease that I have stored up in my cabinet to the tomatoes. And then for my rice, I just boil the rice like you would normally do rice, add a little bit of salt, and that's it for the rice and tomatoes. And I'm just going to leave those on the back burner kind of simmering while I'm making my salmon patties. So as you can see, I just dropped them in the skillet with that hot oil, let them cook on one side for about 4 minutes, flipped them over and let them cook on the other side for about 4 minutes, and they were done. So I removed them from the pan. Alright, so moving into the sides, here are my lima beans that I cooked in the crock pot all day. So all I did was take a ham bone from a previously cooked ham, and I just kept that in my freezer until I was ready to cook some lima beans. I just popped that in my crock pot, and I poured in my lima beans, added some water, turned it on low, and let it cook all day. And here was dinner. Once it was all plated up together, we had our salmon patties, our rice and tomatoes, and our lima beans. Moving into the next night is one of the easiest, most delicious dinners that you probably could ever make for your family. So all I did was add a Boston button. It come pre-seasoned from the grocery store. I added that to my crock pot, added in a little bit of water, put it on low, and let that cook all day. When I came home, I shredded it up, added some barbecue sauce. You can add whatever kind of barbecue sauce you prefer. Put that on some buns. I got some of the tri-color coleslaw from Walmart in the where the salad aisle is. Added some mayonnaise and some sugar, and coleslaw was done. Plated it up together with my barbecue bun. Put some chips on the side, and it was time to eat dinner. So moving into the next night, we're just going to keep it really simple and easy for ourselves as well. And we're just going to get a package of this carne picada steak meat. We're going to add that to our bowl. We're going to season it up really nice. We're going to add some of this Sazon Goya seasoning. I'm going to add 2 packets of that. I'm going to add a little bit of tahini, a little bit of salt, some of this Himalayan pink salt. And I decided not to add like the regular plain salt because I did add the Himalayan pink salt. And then you're also going to add some lemon juice. But I had that up there, so I wanted to go ahead and mention I didn't add all that salt in there. I only added the pink Himalayan salt. So here's my meat once it was all seasoned up. In my skillet, I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil and let that be heating up. And then I'm going to add my meat into the skillet with that oil and let it get all good and cooked up. Alrighty, so once all of my steak meat was good and cooked up and browned, I'm going to dice up this bell pepper as well as an onion, and we're just going to throw that in the pan that we cooked our meat in so that it can cook up in all of the juices that cooked off of the steak. And I'm just dicing it up into little strips. Like I said, we're going to throw that in the pan and let that cook up as well. So here was my peppers and my onions once they were all cooked up. So to go with our steak tacos, we're going to also make a homemade queso dip. So I've got some queso cheese, shredded queso cheese right here, a few slices of that white American cheese that you can find at Walmart, a can of the green chilies, and a little bit of milk. So I went in with my can of green chilies, and then I just poured in some milk into that green chili can, pour that in there as well, and I just kind of tear up a few slices of this white American cheese to start with. You know, I'm just kind of working it up by consistency. I don't really know exact measurements. I just kind of go and eyeball it. When it looks right, I know that it's done. So to start with, I went in with a few slices of that white American cheese, and then I also went in with some of that shredded queso cheese. I'll kind of stir it up, eyeball it, and add in a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that until it looks how I think it's supposed to look. As usual though, I'll have a recipe in the description box so that you can make it for yourself at home, because as most of y'all know, if you've been watching me for a while, I hardly ever follow a recipe. I always just add and do my own stuff. But I will have y'all recipe in the description box so that you can follow it and make some for yourself as well. once it was done, I started assembling my steak taco. So I went in with a tortilla and I did heat it up a little bit. I went on with some sour cream and then my steak, my bell peppers, and my onion, and then some of that queso cheese. And I had a lime on the side because you cannot have tacos without a lime. On the next night, we had like a finger food dinner. So I made some loaded French fries, some hot wings, as well as some little smokies. So here are my wings, and we're going to start cleaning them up. I'm going to cut off the like little wing part, and then we're going to separate the drums from the flats, and we're just going to throw that in the bowl and season that up. So boss man had to step in and try to tell me what to do. But anyway, we're also going to have some chicken legs. And those were the most biggest chicken legs I have ever seen in my life. They came from Walmart. But I'm sharing right here with y'all the seasonings that I'm going to be using. But of course, like I always tell y'all in almost every What's for Dinner video, you can use whatever kind of seasonings you prefer. It's your kitchen to make your food taste how you want it to taste. But I'm just sharing with y'all what I'm going to be using in my kitchen. So once I had all of my chicken seasoned up, I shook it up in a bowl. So you do want to kind of add them to a bowl that has a lid. Once I had all of them seasoned, I went in with a little bit of yellow mustard as well as some tiger sauce. And if I can find a tiger sauce link, I'll have that linked in my description box for y'all as well. And by the way, we also are going to be doing the chicken legs the same way as we're doing the wings. Alright, so here was the wings once they were all seasoned up. They're ready to go on the grill, so we're going to take them right on outside and throw them bad boys on the grill, get them good and cooked up so we can eat dinner. Alright, so for the smokies, I normally add in brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, and ketchup, but on this night I just dumped them in the pot, added some barbecue sauce to them, and then back here this little concoction is something that my husband came up with. He just cooked some more of that carne piccata meat like I used in the previous dinner that I shared with y'all. He just cooked that down the same way I did in that dinner, and then he added in about a half a block of Velveeta cheese as well as a can of Rotel. And then I just use my potato peeler thing that you mash, or you put the potato on top of the thing and you mash it down and it cuts it through the size blade that you want. So it comes out to a perfect French fry shape. And then I just fried them in hot oil. And then we topped them with that steak with the cheese sauce and everything. And then we had our wings and our little smokies on the side. And that was our little finger food dinner for that night. But y'all, that's it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. And I will catch you all in the very next one. Bye, y'all.